Well, I have to review this video. New Andypants gaming video on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? Yes, please.
So I asked my YouTube members what game they wanted me to play and review next, and they picked this. I put about 20 hours into this game, and I think I'm finally ready to answer the question, is it woke? One interesting thing I've noticed is that there's been a steep drop in players ever since the game came out 3 weeks ago, and I was wondering why. Single player games always lose a ton of players after a few months, but KCD2 seems to be hemorrhaging players even after a few weeks.
Ugh.
So guys, in this video, I want to talk about 4 things in Kingdom
That's crazy because it's a super long game. Like, this game, people can spend 200 hours in the game if they do all the content. So, theoretically, shouldn't it be longer before players start dropping off? Weird.
Deliverance 2 that were a massive disappointment for me, and I'm going to go into detail on each of these. Number 1, the story and world setup were better in the first game. Number 2, the game is incredibly easy.
It is way easier than the
first. Number 3,
first.
it's not a historical game at all, and it's filled with 2025 politics.
It does have
finally,
a lot of politics.
Number 4, they made main characters gay in a medieval game.
This is the biggest problem,
1403
obviously.
Europe. Yeah. So let's get into it. So while I will be the first to admit that the second game had a bigger budget and more motion capture, having a bigger budget doesn't always mean the story is better, because it's not. In the first game, you are a nobody. Will Powers at Deep Silver confirmed that Henry is around 27 years old, he's still living with his parents, waking up late from drinking the night before, helping his dad as a blacksmith. The story is relatable and something many of us experienced growing up.
Yes, I actually made a review on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, just like a one-take, 12-minute video. People hated it because I didn't like the game that much. I played the game all the way through. I think it took me 62 hours to beat it. And one of my points was that the story in the second game is not good. The writing's not good. The story's bloated. There's too many characters. The cast of characters is ridiculous. And the first story was simple, relatable, and yeah, that's the big thing. It's simple. It's easy to follow. It's relatable. It's a story that people can actually get attached to, right? A son losing their father, trying to find their way in the world, you know?
Growing up, although maybe we weren't 27 dealing with it. Your dad shares a few deep words of wisdom with you. Your mom is kind and sweet, but within the first hour of the game, the Cumans have set fire to your village and murder both of your parents in front of you.
Yep.
You escape with your only connection to them, the sword your dad just made. Eventually, you go back to bury your parents and are attacked by a bandit named Runt who steals your sword. You end up in Rete being nursed back to health by a sweet girl named Teresa and her father.
Recap of the first game.
So you start the game with 2 thoughts seared in your mind. Number 1, I must get
Revenge.
my father's sword back. Number 2, I must avenge my parents'
Simple.
death. Boom. It's such
Clear
a
motivation.
good setup for an open world game. It made me want to get out there and make a name for myself and become something. The new game has an absolutely horrible setup for an open world game. It makes you feel like you're joined at the dick with Hans rather than
Not to
becoming your
mention
own
the new
person.
game had a way longer
The new game
intro.
opens with Suchdol being sieged and you stumble out as a semi-drunk Father Godwin. And you know, I get that he's a hilarious character.
The
from
Godwin
first game,
sections were
but
insufferable.
it's just a bit goofy to me that you're playing as a drunk priest and there's this quirky music going on right at the start of the game and you're in this epic battle.
Oh my god, the music. They'll do this in the second game. They use these music bits to try to do comedy pieces, and it just always falls on its face.
But shows you the retarded tone of this entire game.
Yeah, the Godwin
so you meet up
sections
with
should
Henry,
all be
and
removed.
He essentially says, "What have we gotten ourselves into?" The game jumps backward in time and cuts to you and Hans with a bunch of soldiers delivering a message to Trotsky Castle and goofing off. You and Hans keep saying stuff to each other like, "Seize the day,"
it
and
is
"We're
pretty
on an
gay.
adventure, yay!"
Identis
Henry and Hans go down to
Fortuna.
bathe in a nearby river. Bandits show up and attack and kill your men, and you barely escape with your lives. The 2 of you are nursed back to health in a hut with an old woman. You then finally make it to Trotsky Castle in your ragged clothes, and they, of course, don't believe that you're noblemen, and so you have to go to a nearby bar where you hatch up a plan to get in the castle. Although I do think Hans is a funny character, I hate the entire beginning and setup for this game, and most of the campaign, because it just feels like you're joined at the dick with Hans the entire game, and you are actually because you're his bodyguard, and the dude just treats you like shit. To put this another way, KCD1 had jokes in it, but KCD2 is a joke. And that's the difference between these 2 games, I think. The first game starts off with an incredible call to action. Your parents being murdered and your sword being stolen is what truly grows you up in a sense. KCD1 is about growing up. KCD2 is about seize the day. Let's go on an adventure, Hans.
Yeah,
You're going to see this theme again and again, but although Henry is a bit of a troublemaker in both games, KCD1 still had very based and traditional values, whereas Kingdom Come 2 is a postmodern game in which there is no ultimate right and wrong, and this is why the game is so much worse than the first one. In the original game, everything is hard and nothing is ever explained, and this is why I like the game so much. Combat is a pain in the ass in the first game, and it felt like it took me weeks to learn.
First game
but
was a lot
dang, was
harder.
it so satisfying when I got good at it. The new combat system is so...
But then you realize in the first game, all you have to do to win is never attack and only parry at the right time, and then you'll Master Strike and kill everyone. Once you realize that, the first game becomes a joke. But the second game is actually even easier than the first game, and they simplified the combat.
So easy that a child can learn it. It doesn't feel hardcore anymore, and it makes me think this game is for casuals now. But this design philosophy has affected everything in the game. Lockpicking is easy now. Making potions is easy now. Fast travel is easy now. The gear system is easy now. I almost never found myself
That was
getting
another thing
stuck
I criticized the game for. It feels like the gear was more simplified than from the first game. Even though the second game is twice as long, there should be more gear options, right? But it feels like there's less. So in a game that's twice as big as the first game with less gear options, it felt very restricted.
We're screwed in this game where I had to reload an old save. The original Kingdom Come was an incredibly esoteric game, and it didn't care if you died 1,000 times figuring something out.
True.
For me, all of this was gone from the new game, and this is why I consider Kingdom Come 2 to be a casual and gay experience for people who never played the first game. Number 3.
See, this is another thing. I genuinely believe that a lot of these shills coming out saying that it's the greatest RPG of the decade, I don't think they actually played the first game. And they would have to prove to me that they did.
Come 1
which
was
isn't
a
gonna happen.
historically accurate game. Kingdom Come 2 is a global homo game full of 2025 politics and propaganda.
Yep, let's list them off quick. There's what's her name? Teresa, key character of the cast, who's a woman, who's like a thief. So yeah, woman shoehorned in. There's Musa, who becomes a key character towards the end of the game, black guy in fucking medieval Bohemia. There's your Jewish half-brother. There's the whole stop the anti-Semites and save all the Jews from Kuttenberg. What else? There's the debauched priest Godwin, but I guess he was in the first game, so maybe we don't count that. But there's four key inserts into the main plot and characters of the story that are just blatantly going against the themes of the first game, which is historical accuracy, which in medieval Bohemia would be all white dudes, let's be honest. But nope, you need your merry band of diverse cast with a female and a black guy included.
What we all loved about the original game is that it was uncompromising about history.
Yeah.
It had historical towns and people doing historical things. Mad that everybody is white? Get mad at 1403 Bohemia.
Yeah, exactly.
Mad that Henry is straight? Get mad at 1403 Bohemia.
Yeah.
And the wild thing is, Warhorse themselves in 2018 specifically
I've seen
came
the
out and
tweets.
said Henry is not gay or bi.
I've seen
but
the
is
responses.
Specifically straight. But what we see in 2025
What
is
a 180
Warhorse
that was,
Studios
huh?
that is actually run by Embracer Group, which is owned by BlackRock.
There it is.
And if you think
There
Nose
it
Money
fucking
doesn't have
is.
strings attached to it, you'd be
Yep.
very wrong.
There it is.
Kingdom Come 2 is not a based, historically accurate medieval game.
But
It's
people
a game
refuse to
full of
notice this
Jewish
sort of thing.
propaganda, modern woke values, and the LGBTQ nonsense. About halfway through the game, you have a main quest titled this: Infiltrate the anti-Semite.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
Hold up.
This is it.
Had the word anti-Semite even been invented in 1403?
It's fucking
Of course it
crazy.
hadn't. Anti-Semitism is a word made up in 1879 by the German journalist Wilhelm Marr. Oh, and the creator of the game, Daniel Vavra, also happens to be Jewish.
Huh.
But you better stop
Weird
noticing
coincidence.
things or
Yeah,
you'll be called
don't
an anti-Semite
notice.
too.
No noticing.
Why does this always happen with good
That makes
video
you a
games?
racist.
There's always a game director who just
And
so
a
happens
bigot,
to be
if you
Jewish,
notice.
and they make an awesome first game with based values. Neil Cuckman is an example. First game becomes insanely popular. Money and popularity go to their head. The creator then decides they're going to make their second game political. This happened with Last of Us 2. First game was incredible. Second game is full of
Roided out
satanic
chick in the
globalist boy slop to try
post-apocalyptic
to
setting.
trick the white man into becoming gay. Sorry guys, it didn't work. I'm happily married and my wife is pumping out Christian babies right now.
Base.
Get mad. One of the weirdest things that the director of the game, Daniel Favre, did is he removed the ability to go into any of the churches.
That is weird.
can't go
Like,
inside
why the
a
fuck
church
can't I go in
building
a
in this
church and
game,
pray? You could in
which
the
is
first
incredibly
game.
weird because you could become a monk in the first game. There was several church and monk
It
quest
felt
lines,
incomplete in the second
but
game.
No, Daniel Vav just decided to remove all of that stuff from this game. Another ridiculous political thing in this game is the presence
Musa
of
of
Musa
Mali.
of Mali. And this dude honestly feels a bit like a black samurai in an Assassin's Creed game
Yeah.
and how out of place he is.
He's so
400
inserted.
years of Europeans fighting back Islamic encroachment into their lands had just come to an end. And we're supposed to believe that an African Islamic guy is just hanging out, chilling.
It's
This game
insane.
is corny as hell, dude. The second a knight saw this guy, they'd be like, Deus Volt, and start swinging their sword. And look, again, I have no issue with a
I
black
will
guy.
say there was a funny bit when you first meet him as Henry where there's a line where Henry's like, "What's wrong with you?" or like something related to like, you know, his pigmentation that he's black, because I don't think Henry's ever seen a black guy before. But that was like the one good bit. The rest of it's just Musa's just in the story from here on out till the end of the game, and he's the main character. He's literally at like the round table at the end of the defense of the siege, and Musa's just there as one of the key voices. It's like, how did you even get here?
Being in a
It's
game,
so weird.
just do it historically. The first time you meet Musa, Henry is really awkward about it, like he's afraid to bring up the fact that he's black.
Christ almighty. Are you alright, sir?
Here
Let's see.
we go again.
It's just that you look...
Muscular, wise, wealthy.
I'm sorry, sir. I just wasn't expecting it. I didn't mean it badly.
I know very well what you
Did he
meant.
skip a dialogue?
I have had this conversation at least 100 times.
This is so obviously Daniel Vavra projecting his awkwardness around black people into a game because he's Czech and he lives in a country that's 99% white. It's cringe. They made Henry weird and gay in this game. The Henry from the first game would just be like,
Sorry,
oh, dude, that's
my mouse
crazy.
is
I've never
moving.
seen a black person in my
Cat's
life.
moving
What's
my
up? Where are
mouse.
you from? Musa of Mali continues to tell you how his culture respects women more than Europeans do.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so cringe.
Guys, do y'all know anything about Islamic culture in the 1300s? They treated women like garbage. They treated
Literally
them
like
less
slaves.
than a dog. It's like, oh yeah, dude, they totally respected women in Mali in 1403. They respect them so much that they enslaved them and kept them in cages. Got
Yep,
it.
there it is.
It's also worth mentioning that in reality, not Warhorse's made-up gay 2025 game, there was a ton of human slavery going on in Africa perpetuated by
Of
other
course.
Africans. And again, that somehow
Africans
didn't make it
being
in the
sold
game.
by
So
Africans.
finally, number 4.
Yeah.
The homosexual relationship in this game
That's how it's always
demonstrates
been.
that there's absolutely nothing historical about Kingdom Come 2, and this game is a joke. Early on in the game, Henry literally has the option to pray for Hans. Joke.
Yeah, the gay relationship, this shit is actually so insane how many people were playing defense for this. Because it's just so blatantly in your face. Like the most blatantly woke bullshit they can pull. Let's take the main character of the first game, historically accurate Christian game set in medieval Bohemia about killing fucking humans, and let's make him gay along with the other main character, Hans, who are both young men. I wonder if a woman was involved in this. Weird how that always happens. Two young men who are friends can't just be friends. They just have to end up being gay. But so many people play defense. We're like, no, it adds more choice. And it's an RPG. It's all about freedom of choice. So being gay is that actually makes the game better because you don't have to be gay, bro. You don't have to be gay. I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, all the dialogue in the game is there with the idea that you could be gay with Hans, but you don't have to, so it doesn't matter, bro.
Absolutely
No,
nothing.
it's horrible. It
historical
ruined the
about
fucking
Kingdom
game
Come
for a
2.
lot of people.
And this game is a joke. Early on in the game, Henry literally has the option to pray for Hans. You press X to pray, and he does the sign of the cross. Then he delivers
I don't
an
even remember
actual
this.
Christian
This was
prayer.
right at the beginning of the
Lord
game.
God Almighty, look down on a poor sinner and hear my heartfelt prayer. Protect Sir Hans and don't let him die. Just as he didn't let me die. Preserve his life.
That is
'Cause he's a
funny.
young gentleman.
Literally a Christian
brave
prayer. And then
just
they're just, nah, we're
good
gay now.
Christian.
Throughout the game, you'll notice several times Henry and Hans refer to each other as good Christians. They consider them.
They refer to each other as good Christians. They talk about wenches and finding women all the fucking time. And yet, nope, we're gay actually.
Themselves Christians.
Yeah.
They act mostly
Just
according
kidding,
to
lol.
Christian behavior.
Fuck wenches.
Furthermore, you can't be Christian and gay. There's like
Yeah,
25
it's a
verses
sin.
in the Bible condemning homosexuality as sinful. Christianity has been abundantly clear for 2,000 years. If you commit homosexual acts, you are not a Christian. Don't get mad at me, get mad at the Bible. So then why at some point in the game
Oh,
do you
God.
literally have the option
I
for
can't watch.
Hans
Don't
and
show
Henry
it.
to have disgusting gay
Okay.
butt sex with each other? Guys, I'm not even joking. You can Google images if you really want to see it. It's
I don't.
gross. And guys,
I did
my
not.
only thought here
I
is
didn't
that
choose
Daniel
the gay
Vavra
sex
is
in
an
my
evil,
playthrough.
confused, and depraved man. His game Kingdom Come 2 pretends to have a respect for Christianity, but being the nose that he is, he actually worships his father, the devil. And that's what Jesus said, not me. We also see that, in fact, Henry and Hans historically are having a pedophile relationship right now. And Daniel Vavra saw no issue with that at all.
Oh, I've heard about this. The point is that the characters in their historical setting were like 15 years old or some shit. But in the game, they're clearly like 30, mid-30s. It's a stretch. I understand why people are saying it, but like the characters in the game and the models are clearly like middle-aged fucking men, so. But yeah, it is pretty fucking weird when you really dig into it, that the original characters were like 15 in the setting and they made them gay together.
Several
Fucking
times in
weird.
the first game and this game, which takes place in 1403, Hans is referred to as being underage. We have codexes that say that he's 15.
Yep, 15.
But then we have the guy at Deep Silver confirming that Henry is also 27. You guys think I joke about gay satanic pedophilia, but it's all here, guys, and it's disgusting. And if you're actually a Christian, I would recommend not buying this game at all because it's a satanic pedophile game. It's like, have you guys noticed that these degenerate leftists cannot conceive of the possibility that
This is what I was saying. This is what makes me so upset. What happens is you have two characters, they're bros, they have a platonic friendship, they've been through a lot together, they have each other's backs. You know, they're like it's like the best friend relationship between two dudes. But then a woman will see that relationship, especially in a game or a media, and they'll go, "Ooh, but they're really good friends. What if they're gay actually?" And they'll just fucking corrupt it. Cuz this is what they do. Right? They just corrupt. They see these things and they just have to destroy it. So I think that's what happens. I genuinely think it was women in the writing room that led to this whole gay relationship.
men could have a completely
That's just a
platonic
theory.
and healthy friendship. It's like they wait in the darkness with their diseased minds, ready to jump out
Yep.
so they can say, see, look, every heterosexual man is really just gay inside. We saw this in American Beauty, which won an Oscar in 1999. Homos like Daniel Vavra fantasize about every man being secretly gay the way they are. Something degenerate cucks often say to me online is this: you control the buttons you press. Or,
Yep,
RPGs
this is what I was saying
always
earlier.
have optional gay romances. Or, well, Henry
Such
could be
a bad
straight in
argument.
your game. People keep typing these retarded comments out, and no amount of facts and information will dissuade them from their pursuit of being retarded. Kingdom Come is not a game like Cyberpunk or Dragon Age or Starfield. Warhorse Studios in 2018, when clearly asked, is Henry gay or bi, they came out and made a statement. They said, Henry is not gay or bi. He
Yeah,
is
I read
straight.
this, I
He's
remember.
from Silver Scallots. He's the son of a blacksmith. He already has an established backstory. Other RPGs often have blank slate characters with character creators where you can make your
So I've heard this argument before, because it's a blank slate character. It's okay to make him gay because it's I mean, personally, for me, I don't really care about the distinction. I don't care if it's a blank slate character. You know, I just care that it's an established character, right? Henry was established as being straight, and then they made him gay. Imagine they do that with any other established character. Imagine Geralt of Rivia comes out, and in Witcher 4, he shows up in Witcher 4. We're series The Witcher now. Cool. Super fucking woke. And then you meet Geralt, and he's living with his gay lover. Like, imagine if they did that in Witcher 4. People would be like, wait, what the fuck? Geralt was never gay. So it doesn't excuse it, regardless of the setting, regardless of whether it's a blank slate character. It's just, they just have to corrupt these characters that men love and make them gay.
Character gay, brown, yellow, green, or whatever color or sexuality you want. Kingdom Come is not that game, and it has never been that game. Henry has established lore and an established backstory.
And it's a Christian game,
furthermore,
too.
throughout the game, he calls himself a good Christian. If Henry calls himself a good Christian, that would mean he follows the Bible, and the Bible forbids homosexuality. End of story. But this is what retarded leptons on the internet can't seem to understand, and I'm sure I'll get 50 more comments of people saying, it's an RPG, you can do what you want, when they don't understand that Kingdom Come Deliverance has never been that kind of RPG. All you're telling me when you say that is that you've never played the Kingdom Come games.
They've never played the
In
first
Kingdom
game,
Come
that's for
1,
sure.
Henry is not you. Henry is himself, and he already has established lore. Daniel Vavra, after becoming a homosexual and getting his pockets lined with satanic BlackRock money, did a complete 180 on this issue. Vavra is now proudly saying on Twitter...
Yep, this is it. I was going to say, he literally went out and said, it's okay that he's gay because Henry is literally you. It's an RPG. It's like, no, it's not a blank slate. And even if it was, it still wouldn't be okay. And yet people... Oh, it's crazy.
Henry
it's so
is
crazy.
you. But this was not the case in the first game. So again, anybody who likes Kingdom Come 2 is not a true fan of the game. The new game is too easy. It's a casual campers pampers game for people who weren't good enough.
It was so obviously made for tourists, made for people who didn't actually play the first game. It was so obviously made to capture the crowd of people who just like, you know, heard about the video or heard about the video game through a Twitch stream or an article or through the controversy, and they're like, oh, maybe I'll get it. The game was clearly made to capture that audience, not to capture fans of the first game, but to capture as wide of an audience as possible. And we've all heard the saying before, when you make a game that appeals to everybody, you make a game that appeals to nobody. And that's what they fucking did.
To play the first game, it's watered down goy slop, but furthermore, it's blasphemous and it's a bastardization of the first game.
Yeah.
Kingdom Come 2 took one of the most wholesome and Christian friendships in gaming, the relationship between Henry and Hans, and they made it a disgusting gay relationship. So yeah, I think people like Daniel Vavra, who did this to a Christian game and filled it with gay degeneracy that mocks Christians, I just hope this guy knows where he's going one day.
Jeez. Hey, I mean, I'm glad he made this video. This kind of helps me feel a little more justified, a little redeemed after my review, because a lot of this is what I said in my review, and I still feel the same way. And it still drives me crazy that so many people will try to justify them making Henry and Hans gay. Because, oh, it's an RPG, bro. Oh, it's just a choice. It's like, it doesn't matter though. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, if you're still on the fence at this point, if somehow you've got this far and you're still wondering, should I buy it? Don't. Even if you're interested at all in this franchise, maybe get the first game when it's on sale. But yeah, this was a good video. I always like Andypants gaming, and I was really excited to see that he actually made a review about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, or at least a follow-up. So yeah, like this video. And then yeah, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more vids like this. I'm a new channel. Subscriptions go a really, really long way. And thanks for watching. Peace.